You just run the intro, and can you? Can you do it so we can see ourselves on this TV here? He's the YouTube guy. All right, what's happening, everyone? We're live here. Next episode of Beyond the Game. Special guest, Andrew Rappaport. He came in like God, just into our office today, and all this light shining behind you.
I've been called a lot of things. I've never been called God, but it's not a bad title.
Right? I feel like it's...
I don't know if my wife would agree, but,
You're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling tonight?
Good. Feeling good.
Welcome. I didn't know we'd be able to get such a big celebrity on our show. I think it has to happen like this, just very spontaneous.
Yeah, that's what I do. Just like God, the celebrity appears.
So we're happy to have you on, though.
Thanks.
Either way, it's
good to be here.
Yeah. So you came in with some exciting news, and we feel like, hey, let's maybe share that tonight on tonight's show.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the 6th annual Gains for Brains.
6.
Which is unbelievable that we've been now doing this 6 years. And, we got the lineup ready, and we're ready to play some lacrosse.
Cool.
Soon.
I know, yeah, it's funny, like, you're in football mode, you're in
I am
soccer
in football mode, yeah.
baseball, well, I guess not baseball yet.
No,
but
football and soccer, yeah.
Football, soccer, wrestling's coming up. But for us, we talk about lacrosse all the time, so, this is only natural. So we appreciate you kind of coming out in talking lax and during
just
football.
Just got to, take the switch and, flip it over to lacrosse mode, pull out the shirts, and I go, all right, now I'm in lacrosse mode. So... not that bad.
Yeah, it's good. So I think before we talk about what's going on in 2020, let's take people back that are watching this episode here tonight and share with them what is Gains for Brains, how did this amazing kind of foundation come about, event come about, and then we can even talk about how the idea of the event and what goes on within it came about as well. So let's go back a little bit.
So about 10 years ago or so, I worked for News 12. And I was covering a soccer game, and actually someone reached out to us and said, "Hey, I have a great story idea for you." Said, "Sure, we love to hear it." So there's this girl who was the goalkeeper on the Hauppauge soccer team reached out and said, "Listen, we have a girl, one of our friends. She just got diagnosed with brain cancer. We're going to throw this big charity event for her, raise money, and the whole thing. We'd love if News 12 can come out and cover it." So I said, okay, great. We went out there, we met everybody, and I met this girl. Her name was Courtney Tompkin. And, she was a junior at the time, and she was the bravest, most bubbly girl, but she had this horrible disease. She had brain cancer. And we got to know her over the next couple months, and then sadly she died. And I always said to myself, if I have the opportunity to do something, I want to give back to the foundation that made her life better her last few months. And it was this organization called the Making Headway Foundation. Fast forward a few years, I'm doing our lacrosse show with Mike Quick on Varsity. And we were just talking about random lacrosse teams. And he says to me, "Why don't you put together a lacrosse team? You cover so much lacrosse tournament. You cover so much girls lacrosse. You're a big shot. You think you know all the coaches. Get teams from around the country, from the tri-state area to come in." So I said, okay. So I reached out to a few teams from Jersey and Connecticut and Westchester. And I tried to get McDonough done from Maryland, but they were too scared to come. That's actually how the whole thing started. But a bunch of teams said, yeah, we want to be a part of it. They said, we'd love to. So we were talking about it on the show the next week, and Quick said to me, but let's do it for a good cause. Let's not just play lacrosse. So I said, you know what? You're right. And I thought about it, and I remember the Making Headway Foundation from years ago, and I reached out to them, and I introduced myself. I said, this is what we'd like to do, and they said, great. We'll be a part of it with you guys. Let's raise some money. Let's help kids with brain cancer. Here we are, 6 years later.
Cool.
Still doing the tournament.
Can you talk a little bit about Courtney? Why was she someone that was so impressionable to you, when you met her?
Yeah, it was just, here's a girl who unfortunately was dying, and she didn't want to accept the fact, or she didn't want to let it slow her down, right? So she had this disease, but she was so full of life and so energetic. And talking to her dad and talking to her friends, I found out that the Making Headway Foundation helped her and provided comfort. And then I found out more about the organization, and they do so much for these kids that I said, we have to be a part of it, So, and Courtney just struck a chord with me. And I think in all my years at News 12, listen, you do a lot of stories, you do all this work, and you never really get attached to a particular story. But I just felt like, wow, this girl is an inspiration, right?
Sure.
So I always remembered it, and I just felt like I had to give back.
Yeah, what's interesting when you talk a little bit about Courtney's personality and how you remember her.
Yeah.
When I first came and saw this event for myself, not really knowing much about it and the foundation you've created, that kind of like spirit exists at the event. It's like, you're kind of like creating something based off of like the competitive nature of Long Island people. Like, hey, we're better than everyone else.
Exactly.
And like people coming to prove something. So there's definitely that competitive atmosphere. But it's also very lively, energetic. There's younger girls coming to watch people play. There's an incredible bake sale. There's the girls building relationships with people outside of Long Island.
Well, I think
that's there.
I mean, you play lacrosse, but like the lacrosse community is the tightest community out of any sport.
Yeah.
Much more than football or basketball. It's just a tight-knit community. Everybody seems to know each other. So now you're bringing in all these teams from around the tri-state, and they're all friends already anyway. You're right, and it just brings the competitive spirit out, but it's just good vibes, and they want to be a part of it. For example, Darien, one of our teams that's been in it every single year from Connecticut.
Sure.
A few years ago, they came to me before the tournament and said, we have an idea and we'd like to raise extra money. We don't charge an admission fee, but we do T-shirt sales and the bake sale and raffles and all that. But they said, we're going to help the foundation by all the girls on the team over the summer gave lessons to the younger girls in the community, did babysitting, and then they took all that extra money that these high school girls made and donated it to the foundation. I mean, how great is that?
That's unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't know me. They don't know Courtney. They don't know the foundation, but they knew what they were playing for, and they wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. I got to imagine that's kind of coming from the top down. Like, they probably have a great leader in Darien.
Yes.
And
Lisa's a great coach, Lisa Lindley. And it's just, it's a good community. Again, another big lacrosse community, and they understand what this is all about, so they wanted to be a part of it. And actually, a few times, we didn't do it last year, but the Making Headway Foundation invited us to the hospital to see where our money goes. So the first year, I actually brought a couple girls from Cold Spring Harbor.
Nice.
The next year, I brought a couple girls from Darien, and we went there and saw some of the kids and saw some of the equipment and saw, the treatments that our money, just a small piece, obviously, but where it goes. And I think that's very eye-opening, too, not just to me, but to the players, too. So
Where is that, Rap?
The Making Headway Foundation is based out of Westchester, but the hospital's in the city.
Okay.
So there's one specific hospital?
So there's one hospital that they work with that we got to visit 2 years in a row.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like the story about Darien is pretty amazing. I almost feel like, and again, this is your event, and we're lucky enough to just come and promote it. That's really what we try to help do. But I think it should really be a part of like, hey, like not only do we want the best teams here, like I think part of the event should be like, how are you going to give back to this foundation a little bit more too? Because it's easy enough to come down and play a lacrosse game. And I think that's just part of what the girls do during their spring season. But to go that extra step and give back to something that's really important, not only, to you, but to obviously a lot of people that are impacted by this foundation, I think it should be kind of almost ingrained in the event. I think we should also work together to find creative ways to do kind of like what the Darien girls did. Like how do we raise some funds here to get things going?
And believe me, the foundation would love it. We've raised about $60,000 in 5 years.
That's
okay,
wonderful.
So again, small piece of what they do.
Sure.
But it's $60,000 that they didn't have before, and from a girls lacrosse tournament, I think that's a pretty nice contribution that all the girls, and it's not me, it's all the girls that are part of it. It's the teams that travel from Jersey and Connecticut and Westchester and of course Long Island contribute by buying the T-shirts. And
we get a lot of GoFundMe for the kids that leave our program and go to college. I just got one today from Emily Lampasone down in Florida. She goes to school in Florida.
Sure.
And it's like, even if everybody send $5, $10, $20,
it's great.
And you got hundreds of people doing that, you can just raise more money. So I think we could just set up a little platform, put it together, do it for each team. So it's almost like a little competition.
Yeah, a little brag.
That's great. Yeah, we have our website, gainsforbrainslax.org.
Yep.
We have a donation page on there. But, hey, you come to the tournament, any way that we can raise money, let's do it.
Let's talk 2020. We're excited.
And I have to mention,
because
if I don't mention this, my better half might yell. We know you guys saw it last year. We have a great bake sale too.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
We set up a big tent, and my wife and her friends, mostly my wife, spend the day before, 2 days before, setting this up, and so that's how we raise a lot of money too.
She is an amazing baker.
Thanks.
Really,
that's why I look like I do.
Thanks for nothing.
Funny story, side story. We'll get a little personal here, but on our first date, we were set up, and our first date, we'd been talking on the phone for a couple months, and a couple weeks. We talked. We finally met. We met in the city. We met at a bar, and I don't eat chocolate. Okay, I don't like the taste of chocolate. Never have, never will. So we're at dinner and we're talking, and at the end of the night, she reaches under the table, and I guess she was waiting to see if she liked me or whatever it was. She reaches under the table and pulls out this piece of tin foil and says, "Here you go." And I said, "What is that? You poisoning me? Like what's going on here?" She goes, "Well, you told me you don't like chocolate and you don't eat a lot of fattening food, so I made you low-fat banana bread from scratch."
Oh.
And I said, "Really? Like, we just met you." And she said, "Try it." She tried it, and I tell everybody. I took a bite. I said, "That's how I knew you were mine." I said, "It was the best banana bread I ever ate in my life. That was phenomenal. You're mine." And then when we started this tournament, I said, "You have to be a part of it. Obviously, we have to do this bake sale." So she makes awesome stuff every year. So that's a big part of it,
banana bread, and so does Corey. So that's good.
Now it's 2018, and now your wife makes it with chocolate chips and says, "If you don't eat this, I'm walking out."
Basically, yeah. I try to get my little 3-year-old not to eat chocolate, but that didn't work. I lost that battle. So, yeah,
that's a good story. I like that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good people. Your wife's great.
Thank you.
Bake sale's amazing. It's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're going to raise the bar there because that would just put unnecessary pressure on her. But we're going to hopefully help there. If
we love it. Everybody
anyway.
helps.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, don't forget Melissa Hurt, which is Alexa's mom.
Alexa,
who brought
works
the coffee
with us.
cake.
Her mom
definitely
bakes right out of her kitchen, just from the heart. Loves it. She just does it because she's.
And if anybody's watching that has contributed in the past, I don't want to forget them, because people have donated in the past, right? People have brought stuff, and our friends and lacrosse people from Cold Spring Harbor have come out and donated stuff. So it's my wife. She organizes the bake sale part of it, but there's a lot of people that get involved too. So it's great.
Yeah, no doubt.
Before you start announcing the teams, I just want to mention a couple things, because you mentioned Cold Spring Harbor, and there's two. There's a man and a woman that need to be mentioned. The athletic director at Cold Spring Harbor, who took over for a legend, Jim Amon, Mike Bongino. Yeah. I mean, without him,
the best athletic director around. I mean, bar none. He is great. And a few years ago, what happened was, when I announced this about this tournament, we didn't know where we were going. We had no idea. We thought we were going to have to rent a field somewhere, pay a fee. I didn't know what was involved. What do I know? So I call her Coach Candy, but Coach Castellane reached out to me, and she's the woman that you're talking about. She reached out and said, "We can host it." And I said, "Oh, okay, great." And of course, I know her for a long time, and she said, we'd love to be a part of it. So she said, "We just got to get in touch with Mike Bongino and make sure it's okay." He had just taken over the school there. I had spoken to him. I tell you, they have been nothing but first class. They give us both fields. If anybody's never been to Cold Spring Harbor, it's like a college campus, right? It's 2 field. We set up. We have the whole thing decked out, and he takes care of everything, from security to the programs, to the decorations, to the announcers, to making sure everything works. They put the kids on the JV team to work. The kids, before they have to play, because Cold Spring Harbor always plays the last game of the day. They take shifts. They work during the day. So Cold Spring Harbor has been an unbelievable supporter of this, and we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. No better place to run this.
It is a college campus, and
it is.
The kids that go there are blessed to be able to go to that school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I should have moved to Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah.
You moved to their
Wanto's
rival.
not so bad, buddy.
Yeah, that's true.
The Wanta Cold Spring game this year.
Ooh, that's going to be a big one. That
We're
might
gonna
make
probably be covering that
the
one.
game of the week.
Yeah. It's in the running, definitely.
It's definitely in the running.
That's going to be a good one.
As long as like Bayport Mount Sinai is not.
That's always in the running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West Hampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good teams. We'll talk about all of them. Well, some of them right now. So let's talk real quick about this T-shirt. What's this one about? Is this from last year?
So this is last year's shirt. This is our.
Who gets this?
So as I mentioned before, we don't charge an admission fee.
Okay.
But the way we do the majority of the fundraising is we tell every coach before the tournament, they know that every kid has to get a T-shirt. So some schools charge each individual kid. Listen, they're not expensive, $20, $25. I don't remember what they are, but some schools pay for them. Some schools charge each individual kid. Some, the booster club will pay for it. However it is, they call me a week before. They say, this is how many we need. We get it. And that's how we do the majority of the fundraising. We sell them at the tournament too. But you'll always see before the games, the kids are wearing the shirts warming up. So it's nice. I mean, it's every year we go a different color. That's our logo. It gets updated every year. We have the team names on the back. So that's the shirt.
2020 color has not been released yet.
No.
Do you think we should ask the audience tonight?
Sure.
What they think the color should be?
Let's go.
I like that.
I think we should see so let's go in the past here.
All
so
right,
we don't
so
repeat.
this
was this past year.
This is the past year. In 2018.
I like that. I like the neon.
I like bright.
That's
We
nice.
did a little yellow.
Okay.
Is it yellow, green, whatever?
Yeah, it's yellow.
It's like a yellowish.
Yellowish green.
With
I'm a little
navy.
color.
In 2017.
Orange.
We did the orange.
That's kind of like Syracuse orange. That's nice.
In 2016.
Thanks for the zoom.
And now, we had the shirts on the back, the names on the back there.
Flip it on the back. I just want to see who they were there. I think
Oh, that's cool.
In 2016,
Yeah.
we had Bayport Blue Point, Cold Spring Harbor, Darien,
Knoll.
Oak
Oh,
Knoll.
yeah, your girls from Wanta.
Yeah.
West Islip. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oak
stuff
Knoll.
from-
Is that a
Bayport.
Virginia school?
No. Oak Knoll's from New Jersey.
Oh, I don't know.
And not a funny story, but they haven't been in the tournament since. We try to get them back this year, but one of their star players this year actually they were playing St. Anthony's, and their star player tore her ACL going one-on-one with the goalie.
Oh.
And they haven't come back since because they think, they don't get good vibes.
From 16? From
Yeah,
2016?
we almost got him back this year. It just didn't work out. But yeah, Oak Knoll,
Maybe
They're a
in
really good
21.
program.
very good program. Yeah, they won the TOC championship that year or the next year. And then in 2015, this was our old logo. This was our original logo.
That's the vintage.
that got shot down because people were saying it was too
Because the brain.
Too realistic.
Gains for brain. So we got rid of the brain, and we didn't even have the team names on the back. So you live and learn, right? 2015, a long time ago. That was the first.
This is gonna be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's going to be the sixth year.
Sixth year.
This is like almost vintage. This could
Yeah,
go
it's
for
a
like-
vintage
this
shirt.
could go for like $200.
I think we should try to raffle that. What do you think?
Yeah,
Let's raffle that.
I think we need to raise some money with this shirt. Right
Sure.
here. I think we should do a little raffle.
I'll give it. Yeah.
But then I don't have a 2015 shirt. That's fine. We get if we raise a good amount of money
I'll
for
give
it.
you
It
200
depends
for
how
that
much we
shirt.
get.
I'll start the raffle. Fair
No,
enough.
we need to start at least 200.
Well, that's what I'm starting at. I just said that.
Oh, I think you said 20.
No, I said 200.
I don't listen to what you say.
That's your
What were you
son.
saying, Cliff, about?
I was saying that you guys are getting some shout outs.
Oh,
good.
nice.
Who's talking?
So, Mike's on on YouTube and on the FLG site.
The BYG Lacrosse live.
Lacrosse.com. I'm on Facebook. And let's see. Sean Markey says hello.
Hey, that's Jenny's dad.
He says, "Hey Vin," whatever that means. Let's see. You've got
Because Marky's going to play.
someone
this
named
year.
Andrew shared the stream.
She'll be there.
Elaine Ting.
Alan Tingay.
Alan
So Alan works with us
Rappa's
as well. Do
the best.
you know his son
Oh, his son's a
Jason
great goalie.
is a great
Oh,
goalie
yeah.
at
Oh,
Bayshore.
UNBC.
He's such a good guy.
A
Andrew,
standout,
his
standout
son's a stud.
goalie. Yeah,
Bayshore goalie.
Bayshore goalie.
Yeah,
Sure.
Stud.
And Andrew, let's see. Alan says, Rappa, the best in the business.
Yes.
Ooh, I like
Tingay.
Rappa.
Thanks, bud.
Oh, he works for you?
Yeah, he works with us.
Yeah,
he works with us.
You know, So I was interviewing some kids last year, and like I was using some low tech, low budget stuff, and he shot me an email. I was like, "Hey, this is what we use at News 12. Like, you should try this." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." Like
he's the best. Alan's the best.
Yeah.
And he's a big lacrosse guy, obviously because
Yeah.
his son is so good.
Yeah.
But
his son grew up playing for Joe Spallina.
Yeah,
exactly.
he played on the
exactly
Crush team.
yeah.
Yep. Definitely. Ooh,
So he got good.
you know
coaching.
everybody.
Well, I
In
just love the
lacrosse, yeah.
kids. I love the kids and the personalities, as you know.
I tell you how many times Alan and I will be walking the hallway and we'll start talking lacrosse. We'll start talking about Joe Spallina. We'll start talking about all that good stuff. So he's a good guy to have in the building when I need my lacrosse fix.
I tell you,
no doubt.
Bayshaw's going to make some noise both on the boys and girls
Yeah.
side this year.
We can't
good.
let
Just
the
throwing it out
boys consume this. This is about the girls tonight. This is about games for
Just
the
saying.
girls.
The girls are
'Cause
going to be good.
Yeah. So all right, this is cool. We'll consider that. You know, we don't want to. If this is the last one, it should make it more valuable. But either way.
And the first year you did it, you could see by the sleeves, it's actually a girl's shirt. Now we just do
I
the,
like
the,
that.
the unisex shirts, but this was a girl's shirt.
I kinda like
So
that.
I didn't realize it when I ordered it, when we ordered these shirts, and I go to put it on, I'm like, boy, this feels funny. Like the sleeves go up to here, and I realize
Yeah, trying that on.
I ordered girl shirts, which was fine because all the girls were wearing them, but it was hard for me to wear them.
That's cool. I didn't even know they made like a girls style.
Yeah, we
cotton.
gotta get this out there, and it's good that what are we
Yep.
in? It's not even November 1st, and we're talking
Yeah,
about it.
it's crazy,
We're
right?
gonna be hyping this up all year. This is gonna get big.
It goes quick. I can't believe high school football season's ending. I know this is a
Yeah.
lacrosse show, but to me, the fact that football season's ending,
Sure.
Well, Rap, just so you know, last year because we went 2 years ago to your event,
yeah.
we were so psyched about it that like we want to get behind stuff like this. One, it's for the greatest cause in the world.
Great.
Two, it's all about these great girls who
Oh, yeah.
who are. I mean, I'll fight anybody in the street about our girls against anybody in the country.
Oh, I say
Long
it.
Island
I
lacrosse.
say it all the time. Long Island lacrosse, no one stands a chance.
Yeah.
No one matches up with Long Island lacrosse. Listen, in the state championships last year, Long Island swept.
Yep.
Swept. A, B, C, D, right on down the line. And I don't know, and I'll find out if I come on a little closer. Look, I'm just inviting myself back. But
You're welcome.
I'll find out. I'll have to go back and see the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Long Island obviously has the winning record against the other teams. There are a couple teams that like Summit from New Jersey has a good record in this tournament, Darien, but overall Long Island, because the format is, I don't know if we mentioned it before, it's always Long Island versus everyone else.
Sure.
The first
so last year, the ESM Darien game was the best game. I just want to talk about this game because we went Instagram live on the last goal, and I remember who scored the goal. There was a timeout. Coach Thorne called a timeout with, I'm going to say, like 8 or 9 seconds.
Yep.
Filippi had the ball behind the cage,
Sure.
right? I think she's going to Princeton, if I remember correctly. Is that where she's going?
Yeah.
And they had arguably the best player in the world, Casey Chama, and everybody's screaming to me as I'm on the sideline, you got to get the ball to Chama. I go, I'm telling you, Thorne's not getting the ball to Chama because they're shutting her, and Filippi is so freaking fast. She came around the goal and question marked a boy move and stuck it like at the buzzer.
It was unbelievable.
That was the best girls game all year.
Yep.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was
Such a cool environment.
it is because it's a high level lacrosse, and
Yeah.
then that's what we want.
Well, they jumped on him. If you remember, ESM jumped on him, and Darien fought back.
Yeah.
It just showed the character. Now that you're talking about the coach,
Yeah.
because most teams would have just crumbled,
Right.
Because they were up like big.
Yeah, it was
I
like
think it might have been like
6-0.
6-0.
Yeah, Ellie Massera had like 4 goals in the first.
ESM has done well in the tournament because a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, they played Ridgewood. Now Ridgewood is,
Yep.
is the one of the 2 or 3 best teams in New Jersey.
Sure.
Ridgewood shows up a little bit late. Becky's a little bit annoyed. Everybody's annoyed. Bongino's. We're all annoyed because we have a schedule to keep to, right?
Yeah.
And Ridgewood had bus issues. And Ridgewood shows up about an hour late, and we said, all right, this might be the best game of the day, and ESM blew them out of the water. Absolutely blew them out of the water. And a little part of me said, that'll show them for showing up late. But no, I always just want good games,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what's his name? You know who had a great game last year? Was the game that Farmingdale lost. Who did they lose to?
Yeah, they lost by a
Suffern?
goal to
No.
it was Bronxville, right? Or Yorktown?
Yorktown.
Yeah, Yorktown.
I'm sorry.
Yorktown.
Yeah,
Right,
that's a good
because we
game.
match up the two legendary, the two
Yeah.
legendary programs.
So, Frank, can you pull up the first image that we had on deck there so we can announce the first team that is going to be joining? And I think it's
2020?
their first time ever joining the tournament. the Canes of West Hampton. So who do you have featured on that? Who's that picture right there, number 8?
Belle Smith, the 3-sport superstar athlete, and Belle is a one of the top 2-3 players in the country this year.
She hangs out with sharks in her spare time.
She does. We did a great shark feature with her over the summer. You can check out the News 12 Sports Rush Instagram page if you want to see that. But no, she's not just a good lacrosse player. That's like the cool thing about Belle Smith.
Yeah.
She's an unbelievable volleyball player. She's an unbelievable basketball player, and she's a great lacrosse player, and she's a great person.
Yeah.
And we had an opening, and we said, all right, they're not your traditional lacrosse powerhouse, but let's get Belle and West Hampton in this tournament. So
yeah, I think that's a great
They
move.
got a good youngster that just Mo Duffy.
Mo Duffy.
Who committed to Virginia.
They have a lot of really good players. Like they'll be whoever they play. They're competing against yet?
I think we have the schedule.
Okay.
We could put it up at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if I loaded that image in, so I apologize if we didn't. But either way, like whoever they play, they'll be competitive against.
Yeah.
And like I think having Belle was one of the best players, not just right now in Long Island, but in the world, leading the USA team to a gold with Casey.
Yeah.
Like she's a good pickup. So
Really
cool to have West
We
Hampton.
want to get all the young girls there to see this talent.
Yeah.
Because you can aspire. I mean, if you want to aspire to be a young lady, that's a young lady you want to aspire to be.
Yes.
Let's pull up the second image. This is, I believe, a new team as well, hopefully. Well, at least they weren't in it last year.
So St. Anthony's has not been in it the past couple of years, but they were in it before. And listen, they're one of the best teams around.
Sure.
How can you have a Long Island lacrosse tournament and not have St. Anthony's in it?
They have so much talent in that school. Like this picture that we took at the LILJ was actually from the championship game against Sacred Heart last year. A great game. And I've never seen so many talented girls on one team that we saw in St. Anthony's last year. So, like, not for anything. If you just want to go watch great players that are, curated from all over Long Island on one team, St. Anthony's is the team. So we're excited to see them in this event.
I mean, a young lady who was in the final 30 on the USA team, Katie D. Simone.
Yeah,
you want to talk about a girl who's a wizard.
What's that? Oh yeah, sure.
Let me get the matchups here. So
yeah, you got it. So let's while you look up those matchups, let's pull up the third team. And my dad and I can rant for days on the Syosset Braves.
Is that Halpern?
That's actually Talon Stadler.
Oh, the girl at Penn.
She's at Penn now.
Brand new to the tournament this year.
Brand new to the tournament. Coach Lomo, who's a home run.
Right.
She always is competitive because she's a great coach. She's a player's coach. The girls love her. And they have one of the best girls on Long Island on their team this year, Kendall Halpern.
Yes.
Who we're excited to see as well. She's
going to Northwestern.
She's a standout.
And another one we mentioned with Belle Smith, she's an excellent basketball player. I mean, she's a good athlete.
Soccer player.
Yeah, she's soccer.
Great soccer story about her.
Yeah, she's that is a good story.
She's a field player, Rap. Last year, they had a penalty kick thing, at the end of a game.
Sure.
They stuck her in the goal, and she made the save and scored the game winner.
I love that's what I love. I love having great athletes. It's more than just lacrosse players are great, but when you can talk about them all year round, like we do, it's awesome.
Yeah,
because get to see how good they really are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
one
cool
of the things
too.
We do in the LALJ is we promote high school athletes, and we always promote the multi-sport athletes.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
She said, I was talking to Kendall about that. She said that was her greatest like sports moment in high school.
The soccer moment.
Yeah, and she's going to college to play lacrosse.
She's going to play for the USA coach, Kelly Amonte Hiller at Northwestern, which is one of the most beautiful schools I've ever visited.
Frankie, let's pull up the next one. This is a new team to this year, but they were in a couple years ago.
There's Pav.
We got the Tigers of Northport. That's actually
that's
Olivia.
Sorry, that's Garner.
Yeah, Pav. I think Pav's number 11. I could be wrong, but either way.
No, that is Connor.
Northport's back. They had the Louis Giacompora Foundation, I think, game last year, so it conflicted, so they missed it.
All right, so we'll update because I have so much going on in my brain. I can't remember everything. Northport is playing Summit of New Jersey.
Okay.
Summit won the TOC. If anybody doesn't know, the TOC is their tournament of champions.
Okay.
So how Jersey does it is they do their state championships, and then they take all the 4 state champions and put them against each other and crown one overall champion, something New York does not do.
We got to do that.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, Summit won the whole thing, and they weren't in it last year. They had a scheduling conflict, but they're back this year. An excellent test, an excellent Jersey team. St. Anthony's is playing Ridgewood, as we mentioned, and then who else? ESM.
No, we didn't do ESM yet.
We haven't gotten there, so we mentioned Syosset.
Oh, Syosset's playing Bronxville, a perennial power in New York State from Westchester, who was up in the state Final Four every year.
Who's West Hampton playing?
And West Hampton Beach is playing Suffern.
Okay.
Another
Rockland
Westchester
County
power.
They played Mattituck last year, I think.
Suffern was in the state Final Four last year. They were in Class B. They're back up in Class A this year. And I think they bring every girl. Maybe they graduated one person from the state Final Four team a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, these other teams are loaded.
Cool.
Do you look at that when you start thinking about the teams?
I do. So one thing I don't like to do is if you're, especially if you're a New York team, I don't want to match up a team that could play each other in the state Final Four.
Yeah.
So a Class A team will never play another Class A team because I just don't think it's fair. You know, it's hard to beat a team twice in a year. So I always try to mix it up. The Jersey teams, it really doesn't matter. But like anything else, you have some awesome teams and some really good teams, and you try to make it so no team gets blown out.
Right.
A couple years ago, the Ridgewood ESM game I was surprised because they were both like high level teams, but you try to make it so every game is competitive. So I think I did it. Who knows?
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Last year was great. So
Well, we're going to set up there and do a whole pre and post game,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a lot of fun.
we'll talk about. So Frank, do the next image for me if you don't mind. These are some of the 4 repeat teams.
Okay.
The Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks, obviously.
The host. They're in it every year. They have to be in it every year because it's their school.
Sure.
But we want them in it every year because
They're awesome.
They're awesome. 2-time defending state champions. They are playing New Canaan of Connecticut, who won a Connecticut state championship not last year, but the year before that.
Okay, cool. And who we got next there, Frank? All right, these are the Long Island Sacred Heart girls.
Long Island Sacred Heart girls, they've now been in it 2 or 3 years in a row. An excellent team. They won the Catholic League title 2 years ago.
Yep.
They are playing another new team to the tournament this year, Sacred Heart of Connecticut, who I didn't know much about, but I heard they're a very good team, new coach. They were eager to test themselves against good competition. That's what, it's interesting because every time like I reach out to these coaches now, they're like, yeah, we want to be a part of it because we want to test ourselves.
Right.
I don't like when coaches run away. I mean, why would you run away from good competition? I get some of that now. We're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a non-league game.
Yeah.
Come play. Get better. It only can make you better at the end, right?
100%.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The coach at Sacred Heart on Long Island, I know her family for over
Morgan?
20 years.
She's great.
Well, I don't know if you know her brothers. I coached her brothers.
Sure.
The Molinari family could be one of those families. We're going to be doing. That's something that our Ryan Myers came up with, like the best lacrosse family.
Yeah.
On Long Island, that Molinari family is up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe when we get to spring, we'll like rank the all-time great like lacrosse families.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Molinaris would be. I'll be talking
rank
about
everything.
family. Both genders.
Start ranking T-shirts. And
Perfect.
Molinaris. I want to rank which is the best Molinari of all the Molinaris.
It could be the
Morgan's
coach.
probably
Morgan.
number 1.
It could be Morgan.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
She's the best.
I would say Morgan, Terrence, Cullen, Jeffrey.
We're going old school. Wow.
I'm serious.
Poor Jeffrey.
But Jeffrey didn't play in college because he had a concussion problem. He was great in high school, though.
They were all great.
Yeah.
They were all great in high school.
All right.
And a really nice mom.
Let's move on to who's after Sacred Heart here, Frank. I think we have 2 more. All right, so we got the Mustangs of Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Now, it's funny with them, for the first few years of the tournament, they didn't want to be, not that I shouldn't say they didn't want to be a part of it. They weren't a part of it for one reason or another. And then I pulled Coach Burt aside and I was like, Al, I've known you for a long time. Like, I got all these great teams here. There's one missing. You.
Mm-hmm.
You're winning all these state titles. You need to be a part of this tournament. So last year they were in it, and this year they're playing Darien, Connecticut's premier team.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I believe Lisa Lindley, the Darien coach, said to me, we want Mount Sinai.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's a good little matchup.
Jenny Markey, you hear that? And did you say Sean Markey was listening? Is he still on? Cliffy, you see Sean Markey on that? Is he still talking? Tell his girl Jen to come to play.
Yeah, it's going to be a big
She
one
can
for her.
play, dude.
Last but not least, we have
The last team?
The one I ruined a few minutes ago?
the spoiler alert Sharks of ESM.
Yeah.
Logo courtesy of someone, I think, in their school who drew that.
Becky
No,
Thorne?
no Casey, but I think they're still an excellent team. Their goalie is off the charts.
Valley, you got Massera.
Yeah,
I mean Massera's one of the best. She's a stud. They have talent for days, and then
they just got to transfer. The
They
girls
did.
are getting transfers.
They just got to transfer.
and they are playing another new team, Mendham from Jersey, who I found out about. My Jersey sources told me, hey, let's get Mendham in it this year because they're up and coming. They're ready to really make their mark this year. So I said, all right, make your mark against ESM.
Do you remember who the Mendham coach was off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I can't believe. Yeah, I have it in here, but I can't remember.
I'm wondering because I think a friend of mine's wife used to coach that team. Charlie's wife used to be the Mendham coach, I believe.
Gotcha.
I just lost the page. Now I hope she's not watching because she's going to say to me, "How could you not remember my name?"
So I didn't mean to do that to you.
You just put me on the spot.
I don't know if she's still coaching this. She's got a bunch. They have like 5 kids.
Let's talk a little about what else we're going to be doing at the event to help promote it. You mentioned earlier about the pre and post game shows.
Yeah, we'll have our high school game day crew there. We'll have obviously Cliff and Frankie there, and we'll be interviewing all the best players after the games and the coaches and stuff like that. And then we're working on a youth clinic. We're not going to talk about it until we speak to a couple of our friends. Mm-hmm. But we might have a youth clinic that day with some pretty good lacrosse players.
I also think we should do a special award in honor of Courtney.
Okay.
I think we can do it. I think we can do the Player of the Games awards in honor of her,
idea.
Or maybe potentially not necessarily the player of the game, but maybe the player that best represents who Courtney was.
There you go.
For each and every game.
Well, maybe we reach out to the coaches.
Maybe the coaches can give us some insight on that.
Like we do at Wells Crowther.
Right.
Because Courtney was obviously an unbelievable human being.
Yeah.
And say, do we have any, just talk about Courtney, give a little bio on it, and then the coaches could just, it could be their best kid, it could be the kid who doesn't see the field.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's more. I'm more in lines of that. Like, it's more about what's.
Well, we could talk to that person before the game, and then after the game, talk to the people that performed well.
Yeah, I like that.
I just want to get the entire lacrosse community out there.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody out there. It's just a fun day. And we know you're not going to stay for 10 hours because it starts at noon and the last game's at 7. Just come out for a couple hours.
Watch your team play.
Come out, watch your team play, watch some great lacrosse, make a donation, buy some cookies or cupcakes or some of the crazy stuff my wife makes. We barbecue, so it's a great day. I mean, it's a fun day as long as the weather holds out.
Yeah.
Well, if the weather doesn't hold out, we've had some bad days, but if the weather holds out, there's nothing better than just watching lacrosse all day, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I noticed a lot of times too the girls who were playing had friends who weren't playing that came just to watch because it was a cool,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
event to be a part
Bell
of.
didn't play.
Bell was there.
Bell came last
We
year.
saw Des hanging out. One of our
Des
girls.
came
She
down
had some
with her.
friends.
Yeah.
Who's now
Watch some
playing
good
PA.
lacrosse.
And in years past, teams that have played in the early game have to go back on their bus, but then I've seen them back later watching their buddies.
Right.
That's great. But that's what I was talking about with again, the lacrosse community is so tight because everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. So it helps, and they come to support it.
I love this. I think this is so important, and I think we just have to organize a little bit more and get more fun.
I think that was the year Bayport played in, and I don't remember what year it was. Kerrigan Miller was out there.
Ooh.
She played. They played the early game. She left, and she's friends with a lot of the people on Cold Spring Harbor. Mm-hmm. So she came back.
That's cool.
To watch. And Bayport to Cold Spring Harbor is not around the corner.
Yeah,
no, it's a good 45 minutes to an hour.
45 hour.
But she wanted to be there to support.
Yeah.
So she came back. And
do you have a date for this? 2020?
Boy, it'd be bad if I didn't. No. April 18th.
Okay.
Saturday, April 18th. It starts at noon, and we use 2 fields. So, and the fields are, 200 yards apart. So, and we have the bake sale right in the middle, but their games are scattered. They go every 2 hours on each field, but they're 1 hour apart on the opposite field. So there's a game at 12, there's a game at 1, game at 2, game at 3, game at 4, and it goes right through till 7 o'clock. So all day you can be watching, jumping. That's what I do. You can jump back and forth and watch all the different games, see the premier players in the country, not just on Long Island, not just in New York State.
Right.
We're talking premier players in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw some Darien girls that were just unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
And the girls from Jersey,
I'm sure that I get excited just to see all the talent.
Yeah. We'll be pulling out all the stops this year for this one. This is going to be good. Cool. Well, Andrew, I appreciate you coming on.
You got it.
You're coming back because you've already invited yourself.
I did.
We were going to ask you anyway.
That's good, though.
As long as...
We'll pencil them in.
Yeah, we'll
pencil me in. Well, I'll be back. It's only from Wantagh to here. It took 40 minutes to get here, so...
Not bad.
Not terrible.
Not at
we'll
all.
do it once we have the color of the shirt announcement. We'll bring you back on just to announce that.
Okay.
Well, we'd like our fans to kind of give their 2 cents on what
give
color
input.
they want.
Lauren loves to give her input on the shirt too, but I think if she knows that we're giving it out to people who raise money.
I think Lauren should give us the 4 color options.
Okay, fine.
That we can release to the fans.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Totally.
If she's cool with that, let us know.
Yeah.
And then we can release that out on social media.
Great.
And we'll pick the best color.
Great. And we're not going to repeat.
Yeah, let's not repeat.
We're not going to repeat
It's
any colors.
Be different.
It's got to be different.
You know, it's only.
And we're not going to do black or white.
We're not doing black or white.
Black or white's out, and no repeat colors.
So.
Luckily, my shirt maker has lots and lots of colors.
And if he doesn't, we're gonna find someone else. So you better have some colors waiting for you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll see you guys next week.